Hello friends, welcome you all. Let us start with next part of the topic, that is features of the constitution. Now second most important feature of the Indian constitution is Indian constitution is an unique blend of rigidity and flexibility. What it means? It means Indian constitution is simultaneously called as rigid as well as flexible. It has certain characters which are rigid, certain characters which are flexible. Why it is said so? We'll have a brief look at the things. Indian constitution is both rigid as well as flexible. This we have seen feature. Now why it is called as rigid constitution? Now to understand this thing, you have to go through the topic on Constitutional Amendment Act. In that topic we have seen Indian constitution can be amended in three ways. Under Article 368 of the Indian constitution, we can amend Indian constitution first by simple majority, second by special majority, third special majority plus half of the state saying yes by simple majority. This we have seen. Now let us see why Indian constitution is called as rigid constitution. Because certain provisions of the constitution cannot be amended easily. You need to have special majority of Lok Sabha and Rajya Sabha separately, and to certain provisions you need to have special majority of Lok Sabha and Rajya Sabha separately, along with at least half of the states saying yes by simple majority. So this thing shows that certain provisions of the constitution cannot be amended, cannot be changed very easily. So Indian constitution is a rigid constitution. But there are certain provisions in Indian constitution which can be amended very easily with just a simple majority. We are going to have a separate video on types of majorities. Very important video is there. There you try to understand what is meaning of simple majority. But here we can change certain provisions of the constitution with just simple majority. The provisions of the constitution which are not fundamental, the provisions of the constitution which are just cosmetic, which are superficial, these provisions of the constitution can be changed very easily. So Indian constitution is called as a flexible constitution. Remember this thing, very important. Now if we compare the two important constitution, in that case American constitution is a rigid constitution, it cannot be amended very easily, whereas British constitution is a flexible constitution, it can be amended very easily. Why? It has the nature of the constitution. In case of America, there is judicial supremacy. In case of Britain, there is parliamentary sovereignty. It means parliament can make any changes very easily. So remember this thing, very important from prelims point of view. American constitution is a rigid constitution, British constitution is a flexible constitution. This just a quick revision. Article 368 says that constitution can be amended in three ways. One, it is by simple majority. Second, it is by special majority of Lok Sabha and Rajya Sabha separately. Remember one very important bit from prelims point of view, there cannot be a joint sitting for Constitutional Amendment Act. The provision of joint sitting is given in Article 108 of the Indian Constitution. And third type is by special majority of Parliament plus at least half of the state saying yes by simple majority. It is given in Article 368 of the Indian Constitution. We have studied Article 368 in detail during a chapter, so just go through that chapter. Link is available on our YouTube channel. Now next important feature of the Indian Constitution is it is parliamentary form of government. So when we got independence, we had choice to go for whether American system or to go for British system. So since we had the experience of British system, we opted for British parliamentary form of government, and we did not opt for US's presidential form of government, which many were saying that we should go for presidential form of government. So we opted for British parliamentary system. Now what are the features of British parliamentary system, that we will try to understand in a very simple language. Now before going forward, I am just not going in detail of this topic, because just after this lecture we are going to study the topic of parliamentary system in detail. Here I will give you just certain important factual point which are very essential from prelims point of view. Remember one important thing, many of the point I am not going to discuss in this topic in detail. We will having a separate chapter on that particular topic. Same on the topic of parliamentary system, we will have a separate chapter in which we will deal with about the topic in about an hour. Here just important factual data. Article 74 and 75 in the center and Article 163 and 164 in the state. It is base for the parliamentary form of government. It is very important for prelims. Remember this bit, very important. Article 74 and 75 in the center. Article 163 and 164 in the state is base of parliamentary form of government in case of India. There are certain features that we will try to understand in chapter in detail. Here just try to remember these features. In case of India, the parliamentary system has nominal as well as real executive. In case of India, President of India is a nominal executive, whereas Prime Minister plus Council of Minister is real executive. Remember this thing. Second important feature of parliamentary form of government is collective responsibility. Here remember one important thing, Article 74 is the base of collective responsibility. Prelims point of view, very important. Article 74 is base of collective responsibility. One important line is there which is being asked time and again in prelims examination. What is that line? Here try to remember that line very importantly. Prime Minister and the Council of Ministers are collectively responsible to Parliament in general and to Lok Sabha in particular. I repeat once again, Prime Minister and the Council of Ministers are collectively responsible to Parliament in general and to Lok Sabha in particular. I repeat 3 bits once again. Collective responsibility is the base of parliamentary form of government in India. Article 74 is base of collective responsibility. And one important line, Prime Minister and the Council of Ministers are collectively responsible to Parliament in general and to Lok Sabha in particular. Why they are collectively responsible to Lok Sabha in particular? Because Prime Minister and Council of Ministers have to prove their majority on floor of the Lok Sabha. Prime Minister and Council of Ministers are not expected to prove their majority on the floor of Rajya Sabha. This is the reason why it is called as Prime Minister and Council of Ministers are collectively responsible to Lok Sabha in particular. We have double membership. What it means? It means that a member of legislature is also a member of executive. I repeat once again, the meaning of double membership, the member of legislature is also a member of executive. For example, our Honorable Prime Minister Narendra Modi, he is head of the executive, that is, he is part of the executive as well as he is part of the Lok Sabha. It means simultaneously our ministers are part of 2 organs of the government, legislature and executive. It is called as double membership. Then we have leadership of the Prime Minister and Chief Minister. Prime Minister in the center, Chief Minister in the state. Why it is called as so? There are certain articles responsible for it, but here in case of Prime Minister, I will just write down the numbers of article. You try to remember this article from mains point of view, that which points in the constitution reflects we have prime ministerial government. Many other points are there. Here I am just trying to give you the constitutional basis, a small constitutional basis. So leadership of the Prime Minister can be reflected through Article 74, then comes Article 75, then comes Article 78. Remember these 3 articles. Then dissolution of the lower house, that is Lok Sabha is dissolved, is most important feature of parliamentary form of government. Parliamentary form of government is also called as prime ministerial government. Why it is called so? Because the entire parliamentary form of government has major influence of prime minister on policies, on programs, on priorities, and legislative proposals of the government are being influenced by Prime Minister. So it is also called as a prime ministerial government. Remember these three articles once again: Article 74, Article 75, Article 78. Now next important point, it is based on the principle of cooperation and coordination between the legislative and executive organs. See, while forming a government, that is while forming Prime Minister and Council of Minister, the PM and Council of Minister must have majority in Lok Sabha. Lok Sabha is legislative organ. Prime Minister and Council of Ministers are executive organ. It means unless and until the executives are not enjoying majority in Lok Sabha, they cannot form a government. So that's why the most important basis of parliamentary form of government is a kind of cooperation and coordination between legislative and executive organ. Whereas American presidential system of government is based on strict separation of powers between the two organs. Remember this thing. We are going to study this point in detail in next few chapters. But here remember, American presidential system of government based on strict separation of powers between legislative and executive organ. Next important point, the parliamentary form of government is also called as Westminster form of government. Why Westminster? Because British Parliament is located at this location, Westminster. So Westminster is a location of British Parliament. It is location of UK Parliament. That's why remember it is called as Westminster model of government. It is also called as responsible government. Why? Because as per Article 74 of the Indian Constitution, Prime Minister plus Council of Minister are collectively responsible to Parliament in general and to Lok Sabha in particular. Remember this thing. Prime Minister and Council of Minister are collectively responsible to Parliament in general and to Lok Sabha in particular. This is a very important thing. It is also called as cabinet government. Why it is called as cabinet government? That we will try to understand in next chapter. So remember these very important features of parliamentary form of government. Now we have taken our parliamentary system from Britain, right? But there are a few fundamental differences between Indian parliamentary system and British parliamentary system. What are those fundamental differences? Basically, two fundamental differences are there. First, Indian parliament is not a sovereign body like British parliament. That's why in Britain, parliament, whatever parliament goes for shall be treated as final. British parliament is a sovereign body. So Indian parliament is not a sovereign body like British parliament. And second, Indian state has an elected head. It means India is a republic, whereas Britain has hereditary head. So Britain is a monarchical parliamentary democracy. I repeat the words once again. India is a republic parliamentary democracy. British is a monarchical parliamentary democracy. Thank you very much. Have a good day.